Please don't be weirded out that I'm not wearing a shirt, but I'm not going to put clothing on even to make a video. It's so freaking hot and I don't even know why. It was so nice earlier this week and now it's just like stifling. And I have a fan and it's a piece of crap. No offense, fan. But it just blows hot air and there's only aircon in like one room and it's the living room and you know, everyone stays in the living room these days. But I wanted to share with you a little bit about my endorsement for this book, The 5 Love Languages for Singles by Gary Chapman. If you don't know already about Gary Chapman, he also wrote the original of The 5 Love Languages, and it's sold like over basically millions of copies worldwide. He's the author of a best-selling 5 Love Language series and the director of the Marriage and Family Life Consultants Incorporated. He travels the world presenting seminars, and his radio program airs on more than 100 stations. I have actually heard his radio, and without even knowing who he was. And basically, what happened was, in most relationships, sometimes there's a bit of a complacency period, the period after the honeymoon period, which in his words he calls the obsessive stage of love. There's usually it lasts on an average 2 years. Well, like 6 months to 2 years for the obsessive period of love, and then you go on to the covenant love, which is everything after 2 years. The obsessive period of love is when you feel like nothing bad can be wrong with your partner, and everything's hunky dory, and life is great. And once you finish that obsessive period of love, you start to realize like all these little things about your partner. And you kind of get annoyed a lot easier with them, and you start to realize the realistic side of things instead of this like euphoric fantasy that you created. And there's nothing wrong with a euphoric fantasy. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a beautiful, wonderful place. I know that, however, a lot of couples get married during the euphoric stage, the obsessive stage of love. And then when the covenant stage of love comes around, they don't know what to do with each other. And that could be a reason why there's such a high percentage of divorce, especially in America, because people don't want to deal with it and they don't know how to get back to it. And they don't understand people's love languages. And now that's the thing with Jack and I. And I've had people that are, a lot of Christian couples, and I would say read this. I've recommended this book, mind you, to people that are not Christian, because everybody needs to read this. I don't care. You could take out the Christian bits if you don't want to listen to that. But it is very important. Jack and we're very different people. We have different personalities, but, we make it work. And I think it's a beautiful thing. I personally love to give people gifts. I love to make people things, from food to cards to weird doohickeys. I like to buy them random things because that's how I show my love to people. I also like to spend time with them and listen to them, but my main way of showing love to people, I would say, is gifts and quality time. Now, there are 5 love languages before I go on too much. 1 is words of affirmation, 2, quality time, 3, physical touch, 4, gifts, and 5, acts of service. Those are the top 5 ways, hands down. Look at anybody that they show love. You'll find it out. However, as I said, I love to show people gifts, but that is not necessarily what I prefer to receive in order to feel love. For me to feel loved, I want people to tell me. I want people to tell me how they respect me, and I want people to give me their undivided attention and spend time with me. Just look at me and spend time with me. I also do like physical, hugging and kissing and showing that I'm important to you kind of thing. But that's just mainly with Jack. It isn't with necessarily my friends and whatnot. As for Jack, he says he shows love the best by acts of service. And you could take this quiz in the back of the book. It offers it and shows you what your love languages are. It's also online free, and I can include that in the description box for this. But he shows acts of service, and to me, acts of service being shown is the least important thing. And this could explain why, you know, why we kind of had like a bit of a headbutting, or like, we felt like we were growing distance because we didn't show love the right way to each other. For him, he values quality time over everything. It's extremely important to him. And I think that's really awesome, because in a long distance relationship, you gotta make time. You have to make time for your significant other. Even if you can't see them, it's the conversation, the in-depth conversation. It's the heartfelt, like Skype. It's the nice text. It's, I care about you, and I want to hear what you have to say, and I want to see you. And we, like, without this book, I don't know where we would be right now, because we both responded very well to it, and he's doing so well. I was so worried, because I was like, I'm gonna do everything I can, and he's a little slower to pick up on things, but I've tried to, like, the book basically told me how to communicate. I appreciate when you do this and this and this for me, kind of to help him understand what I'm looking for. And as he read it as well, it's easier for him to figure out what I'm talking about. And this last visit that he had was amazing. He was complimenting my cooking, and he was hugging me, and he was saying wonderful, nice things to me, and he was heartfelt. And he gave me his undivided attention, and I just felt like on top of the world. And I haven't felt so, like, happy in my relationship for a very long time. I'll say that. I haven't felt so, amazing. Maybe even since he said I love you in the first place. But now that we understand each other and how to show each other love, we can better our relationship. So I really recommend this book. If you are already married, I would suggest looking into the 5 Love Languages. That's what it's called, period. By Gary Chapman. He also has a book for teenagers if you're younger. I recommend that. There's one for men, geared towards men, towards their spouses or their significant others or their friends. There's obviously this one for singles. And I think that's it. But even if you think you have an awesome relationship, read this book, because you'll have an even awesomer relationship, and you'll be able to understand each other and love each other even more. And it's just amazing how much it's transformed my relationship with my boyfriend, and I can't wait to see, the possibilities of what we could be in the future, just from continuing and understanding each other's love languages, embracing them and showing them, and letting them know how much we appreciate each other. So really, look into this. I know it's backwards, but Gary Chapman, The 5 Love Languages. I think everybody should read this. And you can get it on Abe Books, like Abraham, ABE, books.com, and it's like $4. It's so cheap, and usually you can get it on Amazon for like $12. So save yourself some money, go to Abe Books, buy it used, like I did, and or give me your address. You can give me your address. I have 2 copies of the 5 Love Languages, not the single one, and I have a copy of the 5 Love Languages for Men. So if you want those, I will be more than willing to send them to you. Just let me know. Thanks for listening to this 9-minute endorsement. Have an excellent day.